is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right.
Welcome to Pro Wrestling Apologist Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Atkins. And with me, socially distanced in his Dragon Blazer Productions studio is my kayfabe partner, or kayfabe brother, tag team partner, who, if I were sharing a room with him right now, I would kick him through glass. I would kick him right through a window. Steven.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm cleaning off glass now.
So, as I said, we're doing a socially distanced episode. We're phoning it in. We're Zooming. I'm in the Catbox Studios in the Atkins estate. And Steven's in the Dragon Blazer Studios. And hopefully the audio works for you. But by this point in the year 2020, you've heard a 1,000 Zoom podcasts by now. So you know what's up. So, Steven, what's your win of the week?
My win of the week?
What's your win of the week?
Well, Well,
first off, I guess we should address the opening there, the little Dragon Blazer Productions stinger at the beginning. Go ahead and explain to us how that came to be.
Well, I got to interview Chris Hollyfield. Don't know who that name is? Well, that would be the guy who played Little Boogeyman.
Boogeyman.
Yeah, Boogeyman's little guy that he used to feud with Hornswoggle and Fit Finley.
Yes.
He was also Little Booker T in a segment with The Rock. And he was also in the Little People's Court segment when DX was being sued by Hornswoggle.
Yep, it's what I've heard of. It's a really interesting conversation. And when can people hear that?
It will be this Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
Yes, it will be on the 12th. It's on my other show, the Rage and Blaze show with my brother, and we interview Chris Hollyfield.
Where Steven is known as Blaze on that show.
On that show, yes. Awesome interview. The guy was really fun to talk to. He talked a lot, which was awesome. We got a lot of good content. Found out some great things about The Rock. You definitely should listen to it.
So hop on over there to that podcast. They also they also review WrestleMania and SummerSlam. They review all the big pay-per-views, and they've been reviewing them in order. So it's a fun podcast to listen to. Yes,
I've been really enjoying it. We are currently on. We've watched 4 WrestleManias, 1 Survivor Series, and 1 Royal Rumble. Our next podcast will be the very first SummerSlam.
Nice. So, go over there, check that out. Check out the Chris Hollyfield. What's his name? Chris Hollyfield?
Chris Hollyfield.
Interview, and enjoy that. So, Steven, I'm feeling like a little bit of
PWA WTF Hall of Fame.
So, let's see if you can figure out who is in the next PWA Hall of Fame.
PWA WTF Hall of Fame.
All right.
Who will join the Shockmaster and Booker T saying the N-word?
Well, I've got 10 questions for you, 10 clues.
So many questions.
10 clues. Let's see if you can figure it out within 10 clues. First clue. Go ahead and just shout out an answer after every clue. First one. He wrestled primarily for WWE.
Okay.
That really narrows it down. He was, for clue number 2, 6 foot, 4 inches, and 415 pounds.
WWE or WWF?
I believe it would be WWE.
Okay.
Because the next clue is he debuted in WWE in 2002. So he may have been a little bit of WWF.
That was WWF back then.
I believe the transition was 2002.
I don't think they had gotten the F out quite yet.
Well, remember you're
big
trying
boy
to guess the gimmick and not the, because he wrestled as something else. So you're trying to figure out this gimmick that we're talking about. Number 4, his real name is Matthew Anoya.
Oh, so you're talking about Rosie.
Yep. Rosie. Yeah, the next clues
it's
Samoan. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
His cousin is The Rock. He played college football for Hawaii. He unfortunately passed away in 2017. Roman Reigns is his little brother, and he is also known as Chemo with 3-minute warning.
Yep.
So figure that
I remember Rosie.
I'm surprised you know his real name.
Cool.
All right. So, as mentioned, we're talking about Rosie, the superhero in training.
That's right. After he was in 3-minute warning.
Yes. Rosie had a 3-year stint in WWE as the Hurricane sidekick. The Hurricane discovered his potential and called him Rosie the superhero in training. The shit.
Yes, I remember. I remember that now.
Rosie did many superhero-y things, like helping a lady cross the street, who then whacks him because with her bag because she realizes he's shit.
Yes.
He awkwardly changed in a phone booth that he's way too big for. Yeah. And my favorite has a young girl begging for her cat.
Yeah.
She says, Mr. Snuggle-Lot, to come down from her tree. And Rosie springs into the action and asks, what seems to be the problem, young lady? The girl says, it's my cat, Mr. Snuggle-Lot's. He's stuck up in the tree. And Rosie says, well, have no fear. Rosie's here. The superhero in training. The SHI, that's really not important here. Yes, Rosie just told an 8-year-old that he's the shit.
Yeah.
I promise
Indeed, he was.
Yes. I promise you, young lady, I'll get Mr. Snuggle-Lot to you lickety-split. He saves the cat, and while the girl cheers him on, she asks him, how can she repay him? And then the Hurricane shows up, and he says, nonsense. There's no need to repay Rosie, because he was doing what all superheroes do, saving the day. He rambles on while Rosie walks back to the tree for some odd reason, and then the cat, which is clearly fake, now starts attacking him in a fake fight with the dummy cat and then slams it repeatedly into the tree. There's loud meowing and angry cat sounds. He then tosses the presumably dead cat and tells Hurricane, hey, we got another mission. Hurricane keeps telling him 1 second, and on the third time he yells, we need to go now. The kid looks around, looking where her cat was, It was a pretty weird, stupid, funny segment.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Some
I enjoyed it.
silliness.
They had a decent tag team run. He started out with a generic purple mask and a gray sweatshirt that said "Superhero in Training," and then he had purple and green striped shorts.
I remember.
They had
some fun times.
Yeah, they had matches with Jericho and Christian, Evolution, and La Resistance. On July 19th, 2004, Raw, Rosie graduated to a full superhero. In 2005 at Backlash, they even won the tag team titles. And then Stacy Keibler also joined them. And for a short while was known as Super Stacy.
Yep.
They eventually lost the titles to Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch at Unforgiven. They started having a losing streak after that. Vince had Kurt Angle attack Hurricane, and this caused Hurricane to get angry and take off his mask and then attack Rosie. Hurricane then refused to wrestle in their tag team title match against Cade and Murdoch. He just stood at the entranceway and just watched his partner just get double teamed. And he was known as Gregory Helms for this at this time.
Yeah. It was his big heel turn where he became Gregory Helms.
Yeah. Afterward, Helms said he was tired of being funny for the crowd, and he's been carrying Rosie during their tag team run. A couple of weeks later, Helms defeats Rosie, and that was the end of the shit. And all I got to say is, what's up with that?
Yes. So congratulations, Rosie.
Rosie the shit.
Joining the PWA WTF Hall of Fame. Rosie, who his tag team partner in 3 Minute Morning was, correct? Jamal?
Yes.
He later became Umaga.
I did not catch that. I didn't really
It was his cousin.
3 Minute Warning too much. Just knew that he was in it.
He later became Umaga. Unfortunately, both have passed away.
Yeah.
Umaga was a great, interesting character too.
It's crazy how much of the Rock's family has wrestled in WWE.
Yeah, they really own wrestling to this day with Roman Reigns, the Usos, Nia Jax, Tamika.
Yeah, jeez, such a big family from Hawaii.
Not from Hawaii.
Oh, well.
They're from the Isle of Samoa.
Oh, he played college for Hawaii. My bad.
Yes. All right. Well, that was a nice induction into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So let's get into the what is it, Stephen?
The meat.
All right. We had some terrible production last week, so we decided we're not doing it anymore. So, all right. Let's go to the Wayback Machine. On May 15th, 1985, in NWA Central States Wrestling, a new tag team consisting of a sexy boy by the name of Shawn Michaels and some dude by the name of Marty Jannetty defeated the tag team known as the Batten Twins, Brad and Bart Batten, to win the NWA Central States Tag Team Championship. Their first title reign was short-lived as the Batten Twins regained the title only a week later on May 22nd, 1985. Shortly after the team lost the CSW Tag Team title, Michaels left Kansas City and left the NWA, also leaving his partner, Marty Jannetty, and returned to his home state of Texas to work for Texas All-Star Wrestling. Didn't last long. In early 1986, both Jannetty and Michaels reunited and were signed by the American Wrestling Association, better known as AWA, of course, as they needed young talent to replace the wrestlers that had switched to the World Wrestling Federation. I think we know that one. It's WWF. As it was expanding towards becoming a national company, the two were paired up by the AWA bookers who suggested the name the Country Rockers.
Oh, jeez.
And another idea for the name was the U.S. Express, as told by Marty during an interview on AWA television that aired in 1986. Michaels and Jannetty weren't fans of those names because they sucked. So they came up with the name the Midnight Rockers, inspired by Judas Priest's Living After Midnight. AWA owner Vern Gagna, however you pronounce his name, I think it's Gagna, did not seem to understand the idea, wasn't a Judas Priest fan. In fact, he quoted as to wondering if fans might confuse the name with rocking chairs.
Jeez.
Sort of out of touch. But he allowed the team to go ahead and use the name. The two started wearing identical outfits and developed a fun-loving pretty boy gimmick that would be known throughout most of the time together. After wrestling on the lower end of the card to get fans familiar with the team, the Midnight Rockers soon moved on to a feud with the team of Doug Summers and Buddy Rose. At the time, were one of the top teams in the promotion. Their first match with Summers and Rose at the Russell Rock Stadium show on April 20th, 1986 did not go well for Jannetty and Michaels, who lost in front of 22,000 fans. When Summers and Rose beat Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig, we know them, for the AWA World Tag Team Championship, the Midnight Rockers suddenly found themselves chasing the main tag team titles of the promotion. The Midnight Rockers teamed up with Kurt Hennig to defeat Sommer, Rose, and Alexis Smirnoff at Battle by the Bay on June 28th, 1986, to prove that they were indeed capable of beating the champions. Midnight Rockers would challenge Summers through the rest of 1986, but never quite be able to get the win when the title was on the line. Finally, near the end of that year, Jannetty and Michaels defeated the champions in a non-title steel cage match. On December 25th, that's Christmas, 1986, on the AWA's Brawl in St. Paul show. A month later, on January 27th, 1987, the Midnight Rockers defeated Rose and Summers for the AWA tag team titles. Jannetty and Michaels realized that the AWA was dead in the water, and they were right. It would, in fact, shut down completely by 1990, just a few short years later. And they decided that their best bet was to work for the ever-growing WWF. The Midnight Rockers got an offer from Vincent Kennedy McMahon while holding the AWA titles. The Midnight Rockers even signed with the WWF while still holding those titles, which led to a quick title change to the dastardly foreigners Boris Zukov and Soldat Ustinov on May 25th, 1987. The team made their first WWF appearance in 1987, only 5 days after dropping the AWA tag team titles at a house show in St. Paul, Minnesota, where they challenged the then WWF World Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation, for a title match. 4 days later, the Midnight Rockers wrestled at their first TV taping for the show WWF Wrestling Challenge, defeating the team of Jose Estrada Sr. and Jimmy Jack Funk. This match was their one and only taped appearance for the WWF, as they were fired only a few short weeks later. So there it is. The Rockers were done with the WWF. Their dreams of wrestling for the WWF were shattered. After the way that Jannetty and Michaels had left AWA, they couldn't just stroll on back in like, hey guys, we're back, truce. So instead, the Midnight Rockers started working for the AWA affiliated Championship Wrestling Association, CWA. So I'm surprised they even let them come back in any capacity. They just couldn't come back into AWA. They just went for their affiliation in Memphis, Tennessee. The team had made a couple of appearances in the CWA in the past as part of their working agreement with AWA, but now they were in Elvis's hometown full-time. Shortly after arriving in the territory, Michaels and Jannetty turned heel, signing with manager Mark Agulin. Their first feud in Memphis was against a recently formed team known as the Nasty Boys.
Hey.
You know the Nasty Boys.
I do know the Nasty Boys.
Jerry Saggs and Brian Knobbs, whom they faced in several brutal matches all over the CWA territory. After the Nasty Boys, the Rockers got involved in a feud with the Nightmares, Danny Davis and Ken Wayne. Them, not so much. They're villainous. What were you saying?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I think I recognize Danny Davis's name. I think he's the ref guy on WWF. That's been in a couple of WrestleManias.
Cool. I'll take your word for it.
I'm not real sure, but I recognize the name Danny Davis, so I'm wondering if it's him.
The villainous personas were that of a self-obsessed, like glory-seeking superstars, which was kind of a precursor for Shawn Michaels' eventual Heartbreak Kid gimmick. So they were basically both that Heartbreak Kid gimmick in its early stages when they turned heel. Their feud with Team RPMs, whoever they are, saw the Midnight Rockers defeat Lane and Davis to win the AWA Southern Tag Team Championship. On October 26, 1987, Shawn and Marty lost, then regained the Southern Tag Team title as the Midnight Rockers. RPM's feud raged on. With their success in Memphis, the AWA started to book them as well. They were like, you guys are getting popular. You can come back, I guess. Having the Midnight Rockers split their time between Memphis and the AWA territory. In Memphis, the Midnight Rockers were heels, but in the AWA, they were baby faces.
That's got to be confusing.
It was a thing. I imagine like when they're wrestling, they're like probably accidentally doing some heel tactics and like, oh crap, we're not supposed to do that here. That was a thing during the territory days. Wrestlers would adapt to the crowd in the different territories and oftentimes alternate between babyface and heel. Sometimes, or something which was possible during the days of national television deals, or I meant before the days of national television deals, and easy internet access. So, it was easy to be whoever you wanted to be because the internet wasn't talking about it.
Right.
On December 27th, 1987, the Midnight Rockers defeated the original Midnight Express. So the Battle of the Midnights, Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose for the AWA World Tag Team title. Since they had won the AWA World Tag Team titles, Jannetty and Michaels were forced to vacate the AWA Southern Tag Team titles in January 1988. While in the CWA, they had a brief feud with the Rock and Roll Express over the AWA World Tag Team titles. After a short while in the AWA, Jannetty and Michaels began asking for more money and a guaranteed contract from owner Vern Gagne. When this request was denied, the Midnight Rockers quit the AWA without having found another promotion for which to work. Before they left the promotion, they lost the AWA Tag Team Championship on March 19th to Bad Company. Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond. It was Bad Company. Shortly after leaving the AWA, Jannetty and Michaels were contacted once again by WWF owner Vince McMahon, informing them that he was willing to bring them back. And by the end of May, the team was working for the WWF under a new shortened name. What is that name, Steven?
The Rockers.
Indeed. They were now the Rockers. They officially made their television debut on the June 18th, 1988 edition of WWF Superstars of Wrestling in a squash match, which they won. The Rockers made their pay-per-view debut at the 1988 Survivor Series as part of a 10-team tag match. Raging Blaze should be covering this soon, right?
Very soon. Our next one, SummerSlam. Then I believe we would have Survivor Series. So probably in about 3 episodes, because I think SummerSlam will probably be 2 parts.
All right. Well, spoiler for that. They eliminated the Bolsheviks from the match before being eliminated by double disqualification in a brawl with the Brainbusters. The brawl between the Rockers and Brainbusters led to a match taped for WWF Superstars of Wrestling, where both teams were disqualified once again, this time before the match could really start. This led to a series of house show matches between the two teams, a series of matches that drew rave reviews from fans. One match in particular on January 23rd, 1989, was rated as one of the 50 greatest matches in the PWI 10th anniversary issue. The Brainbusters narrowly defeated the Rockers as Anderson held down Marty Jannetty's leg as Blanchard pinned him. The feud continued to rage on as they clashed at Saturday night's main event, 20, in a match that saw both teams counted out for brawling on the floor. So anytime someone gets annoyed at these wonky count-out and DQ finishes in the modern product, it's been around for a while. They competed against the Twin Towers, Akeem and Big Boss Man at WrestleMania 5, another one that you should be covering soon.
Yeah, that one's a little later. Well, it's our next WrestleMania.
Is it your next one?
Yeah, we just
you did.
We just
4,
finished WrestleMania 4, so now we got to go through Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble, and then we'll get to WrestleMania 5.